You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 3rd meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Morning, Michigan City. I'll call to order this Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Time is 8:30, and I'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons.
Present.
Ms. Tisdale.
Present.
Ms. Smith.
Present.
Ms. Moore.
Present.
Mr. York is present, and our attorney, Ms. LePage.
Here.
We do have everyone here today. First order of business today is approval of minutes from our regular hybrid Zoom meeting from February 18th, 2025. Are there any additions or changes, or do I hear a motion? Has everyone had the time to read through those?
Motion to approve?
Support.
Excellent. Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Mrs. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, our next order of business today is the opening of proposals. This is an opening for proposals for the 2025 landscaping services, and I'm going to hand this over to Attorney LePage to go through these for us.
Before you do, can you make a motion?
Absolutely.
And see if there's anyone that wants to submit a bid and then close bids, please?
I will make that motion. Is there anyone in the audience right now who would like to submit a bid for the landscaping proposals for 2025? Is there anyone out there? Okay. I'll make a motion to close bids.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Mrs. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Okay, so just remember that this is a request for proposals where I will not be reading off the dollar figure until such time as they're awarded. It's a different way of procurement under the law. So we have three. I'll just be naming their name. First one is from Lakeshore Landscaping, Inc. The second one is from Crazy A's Landscaping LLC. Crazy A is an apple. And the third one is from Servicescape. I would just ask that this be referred to Vector Legal. All the appropriate departments. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Sanitary.
Vector Legal Sanitary. Yeah. Okay. Do I hear a motion to that effect, or would you like for me to make that motion? I can make that motion. I make a motion that we recommend the three landscaping proposals that we received for 2025 to the appropriate bodies. Off my head, top of my head, it would be Vector, Sanitation, and our corporate counsel.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Miss Moore.
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. Okay. The next order of business is approval of insurance program. General Insurance Services is requesting the approval of the 2025 through 2026 property and casualty insurance program. And I do believe Mr. Charlie Keene is with us today. Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning, board. Happy Monday. Today, I'm here to seek approval for the city's 2025 property and casualty insurance renewal. I will hit the high points of the renewal and some changes on this year's renewal and then open it up for any questions. Premium, annual premium with all of the coverages and fees and lines, $1,031,798. That represents about a 10% increase over expiring, primarily because of the increase in property premium because of the large losses that the city sustained last May during the hailstorm. So some of the, a couple of the changes, major changes, building and contents limits. So all the city stuff, buildings and stuff inside the buildings, taking a 2% inflationary rate increase. The deductible, we're going from a 5,000 to a 25,000, which is pretty standard in the municipality line. Very unheard of in this present environment to see a $5,000 deductible. So that is a mandated change across the board for Chubb Insurance Company, who is your property provider as well as liability provider. And then the wind and hail deductible is $100,000, primarily because of the large hail loss the city sustained back in May of 24. And the only other significant change is the city has to insure 8 more vehicles than the expiring 309 to 317 vehicles. That obviously is a fluid number throughout the year as the city departments buy and dispose of vehicles. So overall, the program is roughly a 4% rate increase, and the rest is all exposure. And if there aren't any questions, I'd be happy, or excuse me, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Ms. LePage, have you reviewed this with Charlie and you
I've reviewed it. correct.
everyone's good with it? Any questions of the board or commission from Charlie? Any questions?
One real quick question. The deductible for the wind and hail, what was that last time? I'm sorry, I don't have it in front.
Yeah, there was no separate wind and hail deductible, so it was a $5,000 deductible. Yeah. We're seeing, honestly, most accounts in the area, we're seeing percentage deductibles, which, you know, would be higher than the $100,000 for the city because it is a percentage of the values, not the percentage of the loss.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So 100,000 is favorable.
Yes. I'll say so.
And I don't believe we've had a hail loss or wind damage loss in 20 plus years, probably prior to the, May of 24.
Any other questions, Mr. King? Charlie, I'm gonna open up for public comment and then we'll go from there. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment on this item? All right, hearing no public comment, I'll close public comments. Any further questions for Mr. King? I believe he's done a pretty good job of outlaying or hitting the highlights.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Charlie, thank you so much for
Thank you
being
very
here.
much.
Right. Our next order of business is a request for a run or for a road closure for a walk. Squat Post 451 is requesting to close Lakeshore Drive from the entrance of Washington Park to the exit of Fetters Alley on September 28th, 2025 from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. for their suicide prevention walk, Be the One. Hey, good morning. Tell us a little bit about it, and yeah.
Good morning. I'm Socrates Gray. I'm the commander of Post 451 Squat Legion here in Michigan City. So Be the One is the American Legion's suicide walk prevention, which it backs up, says the suicide is so high in our veterans today. The closures are really just going to be when the people are walking, transversing over that. I said 12 to 4 because that's when the most population of people will be down at the Millennium Plaza, because Big Terry's going to let us use that to start the walk. So I just want to make sure they're aware of the presence should be in between that time. But the walk should start at 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock really should probably take care of that. And it's just for people to be able to transverse across these intersections. So I'm not looking to shut down, everything there, because I plan to come through the park area and go by the zoo, stay on the zoo side, walk up the sidewalk that way, come right back through Petter's Alley, back down and transverse across the entrance of the parkway. So it shouldn't be that big of a closure. It just needs someone there to make sure that we can get everybody across safely. And if it backs up, we can stop the crowd and let people come through and finish and have them walk through too. So I'm not trying to shut down the park or anything.
How long have you been doing this walk? Just curiosity.
This will be the first walk here in
Oh,
Michigan
excellent.
City. Yeah. I don't know of any other suicide prevention
Excellent.
walks here. So
Do
I'm
you-
trying to make this a bigger thing.
Mr. Gray, how many participants do you think you have?
At
Yeah.
least 200.
Great.
At least 200, maybe more. I'm looking into getting the reserve band, National Guard out of Indianapolis to come play down there too, because it's veterans also. So it's a big veterans push. And I'm also working with Danielle Corley with the commission too to see, get them involved also.
Excellent. Captain Jesse, have you reviewed this? Curiosity. So you okay with this? Okay.
Done.
Any questions from the board for Mr. Gray?
I don't know if it's for you specifically, but what does the park feel about shutting down the entrance for a period of time? Does the park department have any commentary?
The
Would-
park is going to have to approve it. That was going to be one of my questions. is, Has it gone through the park board yet?
No.
No? Okay. So any motions we would make would be
Contingent.
subject to approval of the park.
Okay. Got it. Any other questions of Mr. Gray? Sorry, Captain, I was gonna get you up here, you know that. Okay, I'll open it up for public comment. Any public comments on this item? Any public comments? Any public comments? Anything online? I don't see anything online. Okay, we'll close it. Any further questions for Captain Jesse or Captain? You've reviewed this, and you're okay with like the intersection. You think are you going to use EMA or is it? I'm sorry to ask you so many questions.
Just the initial briefing, like what's on there now, should not be an issue in between either EMA or working traffic officers.
Okay,
Should be able to do it for that hour-ish while they're on the street.
excellent. And it's a walk. We're not trying to
No,
do a timed 5K here. So
no,
yeah.
we're just walking.
Absolutely. Any other questions for Mr. Gray, or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve, subject to approval from the park representing the vets.
Here a second.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Thank you.
Next order of business today is a request for a road closure for a 5K. Notre Dame Catholic School is requesting to close Moore Road from Birch Tree Lane going north into Long Beach on March 22nd, 2025 from 7:45 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for their annual St. Patrick's Day 5K color run. Is there anyone here this morning representing Notre Dame? Oh, actually, absolutely. Great. Mark, you are up. I see your hand up. Can you please tell us a little bit about this run this 5K?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone, and I appreciate the time this morning on the agenda. So, this is our 5th year running this 5K for Notre Dame Catholic School. We have usually between call it 350 to 450 in attendees that come and run our event. Because of kind of where the route starts and goes, we have a combination of kind of Michigan City jurisdiction and Long Beach jurisdiction, which had great cooperation from both parties in terms of being able to close the roads and make sure everyone stays safe on the course. We do it early in the morning just to limit the exposure or the disruption to the neighborhood. But for the first 4 years, we haven't had any issue with cars and traffic. And just to make it clear too, we are not asking to close Route 12 at all. It's really just the entrance to Moore Road off of Route 12. And we close it at Birch Tree, just past, so north on Moore Road, just past the Birch Tree development entrance there. So people can get in and out of Birch Tree, and there is a detour to keep cars off the course between the hours of really 8 o'clock is when the race starts till about 10:30 is when usually the last runners are off the course. I guess I'll stop there. Any questions for me on the event? We should have submitted insurance, which you should have. If you don't, we can certainly get it to you.
Yes, you do. You have a map. Thank you for that. And you have the detour, I believe. Or no, just start, finish. Sorry, not the detour, the closure. Mark, have you already spoke with Long Beach or went through their process as well?
We have. Yeah, we are set to talk on their town council meeting this week as well.
Excellent. Okay. So I think that anything we do here, we probably have to do another contingent upon them approving it, I guess. I'm looking at Attorney LePage. Yes, I would say so.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I feel like we've done this one before too, and that we did it that way. We contingent it upon. Captain, have you reviewed this from our standpoint, from our city standpoint? And do you have any overlapping with their jurisdiction? Are they good with it as well?
As far as I know, Chief Swistek is good with it. They've done it in years past, and looking at the plan, it's just EMA volunteering for basically 1, maybe 2 intersections. It doesn't really interfere with us too much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Any other questions of Mr. Seddon? I'll open up for public comments. Any public comments on this item? Any public comments on this 5K run on Birch Tree Lane to on Moore Road? Any questions, comments? All right, I'm gonna close public comments. Any other questions of Mark, or do I hear a motion? Keep in mind, any motion we make contingent upon approval of Long Beach's council as
Yes,
well.
it's an annual. I recognize that. Make a motion to approve contingent upon Long Beach approval.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Mark, thank you for continuing to do this.
Yeah, thank you for your support.
All righty. Okay, our next order of business is a resolution. This is resolution 2843, accepting the dedication of Moore Road in the Moore subdivision. I may have to have our city engineer come up here, but I'm going to take a stab at explaining this because Ms. Moore asked the question as well. So this has been the reason why we're dedicating the road. People are thinking, well, Moore Road's already constructed, right? It's already there. I forget the name of the church now that was there, but the church had been there since 1960s. St. Andrews. It had been there since the 60s. In the 60s, we really didn't do too well on our subdivisions, or we didn't require subdivisions. Now we require subdivisions, and subdivisions are the way that we get dedications of road. Now, going back then, I have no idea how we constructed that road or what that deal was. I do not know, but that road is constructed. It is built. Moore Road exists. So what we're doing today is we're actually accepting formally the half of that road that goes west. So we're getting 25 feet, and then there's 25 feet from center line on the other side. So we will have the full 50 feet of road that exists today, and then some. And we did this kind of the same thing for the Humane Society when they did the subdivision. You may recall that road was already built too. And so we're just kind of basically formalizing this and formally putting it into or recognizing the acceptance through this resolution so that we can find it later on. And we're formally accepting it into our city inventory for streets. That's what we're doing today. Did I do a okay job? Okay. Um, I think there might, if there are, do we correct all the typos? We're good on the typos? Okay. I believe are there any questions about this from the board? Mr. Warner's here to answer any questions.
I think just relevant to the discussion is that the engineer has reviewed this and
Yes.
believe that the road and the standards are up to par so that it would be acceptable for us to put it into our inventory.
Yeah, we haven't, we've been taking care of this road like it's ours. We're just formally accepting it into our system. So any questions of the board? Hopefully did okay with explaining. Okay. Any question of Mr. Warner? We're good? Okay, I will open it up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Any public comment on what we're doing? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment. Any further questions? You guys good? Or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you all. All right. Next order of business is a claims docket for March 3rd, 2024. Any questions on this, or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Support.
Oh, sorry. Call for the vote. Sorry. Thank you, Ms. Moore. Jumped there. Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. My next question, do we need for this next piece, we have an unfinished business and pending item. Do we need to take it off of our pending item list and move it here, or are we good?
You're good because it was scheduled to come up on this meeting.
Got it. Okay. Our next order, did I totally miss something? I'm sorry. Wait, I thought that's what I just did. I skipped payroll. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm saving us tons of money and people are gonna be really mad. No, I'm just playing. Our next order of business is a claims docket for March 3rd, 2024. I feel like I already did claims and I skipped payroll. Okay. I'm sorry, didn't mean to do that. Our next order of business is a claims docket for March 3rd, 2024.
Motion to approve.
You're a second.
Support.
All right, this call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Sorry. Now we can move on to our unfinished business items. This is a pending item. This is a demolition hearing this was set for public hearing on an order. This is a public hearing on an order to demolish unsafe building at 408 West 11th Street in Michigan City, Indiana. This was tabled from November 18th, 2024. Do we need to open this up to, who do we need to, yes, open it up to?
So it's an administrative hearing right now. So what we would
Yes.
need would be the owner of the property
Yes.
and, okay. And also, the member of the planning department.
Ms. Vanderborg.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And so what we would do is start conducting the administrative hearing. What I would want to do is set the record one more time and
Absolutely.
also deal with it, one, from a procedural standpoint to make sure that everybody is ready to proceed today. And if that answer is yes, then get to the substantive part of it, is letting them present their evidence.
Thank you so much for going through that. Everybody got that? Okay. Do we need to call them up?
Yes.
Let's formally get everyone up here.
Good morning. I hope you're having a better one than I am.
Sir, just for the record, can you please state your
Gary Burns,
Gary
I'm the owner of the building,
Burns and your address?
BURNS,
And your address, please, sir?
33 Robin Hood Ranch, Oak Brook, Illinois.
And what is the zip?
60523.
And Ms. Vanderbilt, you're going to present this today, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Before we start the hearing, I know this was continued from November 18th. Procedurally, sir, are you ready to move forward then?
I am, and that was not at my request, by the
Okay.
way. I
And then-
flew in town to attend that meeting, and then 4 hours before the meeting started, I was informed that I didn't need to attend. So I was ready then, just for the
And-
record.
Ms. Vanderbilt, can you please confirm whether or not that your department is ready? Can you come to a microphone too? Are you ready to proceed as well?
We are.
Okay, all right. So what we'll do is, again, this board is vested with the authority of either affirming the order issued from the Michigan City Planning Department, modifying it, or denying it. So at this time, I'll swear in the witnesses that are going to testify here today. If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm under the pains and penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes,
Thank you. Ms. Vanderbilt, since this is your petition, I'm going to let you proceed since you are the petitioner. Sir, when she proceeds, then what I will do is give you the opportunity then to respond as the respondent.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
So she's going to need the microphone, please.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, board. So we met on November 18th, 2024. I had spoke to Gary Burns, had him sent me a plan of action for the property. So far with the plan of action that he has, he's followed through, other than for the month of February, which is cold, which is the normal cold, windy, snowy type of conditions we have. He was unable to do the work exterior wise, which I don't have an issue with. Like I said, he's followed everything he's supposed to do with what he had presented to me, which I asked for via text. Moving forward, starting in February, March, we're going to be doing, according to his schedule, the exterior progress, which is the porches, the windows, the trim. And we'll wait to see from there. I don't have an issue with him continuing to work and continuing this demolition case, provided that we continually see progress with the property. That's about it. I mean, are there any questions as far as?
Since this was continued from the last, I don't believe that factually you set forth what brought this property here on the demo list and provide that information to this board.
Sure. Originally, the reason why the property was brought forth to the demolition list was the condition of the exterior, condition of the interior. Originally, they had a sewer line that had broke, and they had about 12 inches of sewage in the basement. Continual complaints about the property, including continual police reports, nuisances, and such. Since then, Sue Downs and I have been in the house. The basement and the house has been cleaned out. We were able to walk through the basement. So as far as sanitary conditions goes, it was taken care of. Exterior wise, all the debris around the property was cleaned up. Other than that, exterior, he has boarded up windows and such. He's put no trespassing because the house continued to get broken into and such. But the main reason was for the conditions. It was a rental property at one point. It was unsafe conditions in the rental property. We had electrical issues. We still have electrical issues in there until it gets resolved. Windows need replaced. It was just a general mess.
Just so we're clear, your position here today is you are okay with another continuance on this?
That's correct.
What
Okay.
would be the recommendation for how long?
3 months.
Can I ask a question? Can you just kind of run through in general? I don't need the great detail, but things that have been done to date to show the progress, just for the public's knowledge that we're not just continuing something to continue. Things are happening.
Things are happening. The exterior has been cleaned. The interior has been cleaned out.
Great.
The basement has been cleaned out of the sewage and whatever materials were in the basement and such. Windows have been boarded up. There's been a notice put, spray painted on the door, but
Sure.
it says no trespassing, owned by new owner. As far as exterior, there's not much been done to the exterior as far as repairs and such, other than a few trim pieces that have been taken down or nailed in place, that type of thing. We still have a chimney that's got some bricks that are loose and stuff like that, but obviously with the weather and such.
Yeah, it's been-
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other board members have any questions for Ms. Vanderberg?
I just want to make sure, well, you said 3 months, that's the anticipated time period for all of this to be done, and it will now be put into,
No, it's actually, it's just make it into, pretty much getting the exterior done. He's got on his timeline, June, July, to have the exterior portion done, exterior, the porches. Looks like windows, trim, and I can't read the word in the middle there. But that at least gets the outside looking decent. Curb appeal. And then he'll be working on interior again. I'm going to assume he's going to be working on interior as well, but we'll let Mr. Burns have that discussion as far as his timeline and what he's planning on doing.
thank you.
Mr. Burns, you have an opportunity to ask Ms. Vanderberg any questions if you would like, or you could just present whatever you would like to
Sure, I
present.
don't have any interest in continuing this,
But go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
just for the record. I don't know how much detail you want. I have an excruciatingly amount of detail. So maybe, does it make sense for me to start at the beginning as to why you acquired this building in the first place? Or how would you like me to proceed? I'm new at this.
The floor is yours, sir. So again, it's just, he
Okay,
has an order
so-
to demolish.
Okay,
Mhm.
so why don't we just go through a little bit of background? I'll try to make it quick. I'm partnered with a person named Rob Hart in the city on several projects. This is one of them. It's only relevant because Rob owns a brick building on the corner that is in disrepair. These buildings almost look like they're together. They're not. They're separated by about 30 feet of a lot in between them, but they're kind of linked together. Rob bought that building. He enticed me to buy this building. It was obviously in disrepair. The backyard was the whole property was basically used as a garbage dump. I can't imagine that all the garbage on the property came out of the house because the house was so full of garbage, no more would fit. So I drove by the building, I inspected the building, I found the structure to be good. The electrical is newer, the plumbing is newer also. I actually met the owner that did all that work. I have an affidavit from him that he did all that work years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, before these bad tenants moved in, before I owned it. I noticed there was a demolition tag on the building, so I asked Rob, what's with the demolition? I don't want a building that's in demolition, right? And I don't want to fight a city that isn't interested in rehabbing the building. So Rob reached out to a person named Sue. I have the email here if you want to see it, who basically said, we'd love to see you get this property and do something with it. You know, it's a good property. Now, and I have that if you'd like to see the letter. I have copies for you.
I can take it and enter it as an exhibit if you'd like, sir.
Thank you. So the city
Do
pretty
you
much,
want to enter it right now? I'll mark
I
it.
will. So the city pretty much encouraged me.
Hold on 1 second.
And represented.
All right, hold on 1 second. I'll mark this as Exhibit A.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That they would cooperate in the rehabilitation of this property. I sent my attorney into the city to try to find a demolition order that existed because Rob claimed that he talked to Sue and she said, we put a demolition tag on the building to get these terrible tenants out because we had no other means to do it. I still have not found that the property was in demolition at the time I bought it. I had my guys go down twice. We can't find documents that don't exist. So I guess I can assume that she was telling the truth. I don't have that in writing. So from there, I closed on the building. Within probably a week and a half of owning the building, I probably pulled out 15 dumpsters worth of stuff. I cleaned out around the building. There was debris, there were tires, there was appliance, there's everything you can imagine outside the building and around the building. old doors, windows. I took several pictures, a lot of glass. It was ugly. In the front, someone had reinforced the porch, removed all the bricks and just scattered them all around the property. It looked horrible. I cleaned all of that up. I cleaned up debris that wasn't even mine. I then proceeded to clean out the building. That was probably another 7 dumpsters. There isn't an appliance, there is nothing dangerous inside or outside this building. I don't think you could hurt yourself if you tried. There isn't one piece of broken glass. There isn't one broken window. I vacuumed around the property because there was so much glass and debris around it, I was worried someone would get hurt. And it remains that way today. I inspect the property constantly. I was there Friday in the morning. I was there Friday in the afternoon. I've done a clean out on the building next door, which is Rob's building, because there were loose bricks falling off the side and it was dangerous. And part of his lot had debris on it also. So since I've owned this building, I've put significant money. I have multiple man hours. I have multiple dumpsters. I secured the building. The building was broken in, it was being broken into. So I put a camera on the front porch and I identified who broke into the building. And I asked the person, I happened to see him walking down the street, hey, you know, do you happen to know anybody who's breaking into my building, right? He was a good guy. He's like, well, you know, that's a hard question for him to answer. I said, look, I'll just let you in. Is there anything you need in the building, right? He's probably a gang guy. It doesn't matter to me, right? He's a good guy. I see him all the time. He's just a person. I treat him with respect. No one has broken into my building. There's no garbage around my building. I don't even think you could get into my building without this guy raising an issue. There's nothing, the electric is not hooked up. There's no fire hazard. There's no juice. The meters are pulled. It's ugly. It's butt ugly. There are boards on it and it needs a paint job. The electric was redone by a union electrician. Upstairs is in rigid wall conduit, which exceeds code. All the drain stacks have been replaced. The risers have been replaced. The electric is all code. It's all newer inside the building. They were diverting it for something. They dug a hole in the ground and tried to pump water with a well pump to the kitchen and the bathrooms, and it actually worked. I don't know how, but it did. So that's how I know that, you know, crazily enough, I pressure tested the plumbing. It doesn't leak. This is before I even bought the building. So, you know, I put a ton of money into this building already. I was enticed by the city to buy it in the spirit of cooperation. And, you know, it seems like, frankly, all my conversations about this building are threats to knock it down. And I can't live that way. I can't keep investing in a building knowing that this guillotine is over my head. So I don't really have any interest in continuing it. I'm happy to register it as a vacant building. I'm happy to proceed with my plan, you know, but being under this guillotine of invest more money, we can still knock your building down. That's not working for me. So I have no interest in continuing. You know, you guys have the power. I respect your decision. If you want to demolish the building, I respect that. Make a decision to demolish the building. If you want to dismiss it out of here and let me register it as a vacant building and proceed with the normal process. Again, I'm new at this. I don't know how this works. When someone applies for a permit, do you put them in demolition court until they complete the construction on their building? I'm afraid maybe that's how this city operates. I don't know. I've never done it before, but that's the position that I'm in. So I have lots of documents in detail. If you guys want to go through every charge that's made on this original complaint, the only one that's valid is it's a blight because it's ugly. It needs a paint job and windows. By the way, the windows are in the building. I had them delivered already. Oh, in addition, I acquired the required registered contractor permit. I'm a registered contractor for that building in this city. And I acquired my demolition permit from it's Angie, right? I don't know. I don't remember all the names. So I don't know how else I can comply, but what I can't do is keep putting money into this building, come back in this committee to decide if they're going to knock it down again. Easier just to do that now. Thank you. Anything else? Any questions? I can answer any question.
Any questions for Mr. Burns?
Well, how long do you think, what's the estimated time to complete?
I have a year on here.
And you just purchased the
I'm
property?
happy to hear, I've had it since the fourth quarter of last year, so I
Okay.
guess I've had it now 3 months maybe. I'm happy to give you the plan and the details. I have it.
So just as a refresher, if I'm remembering correctly, this was put on the demolition list. You'd purchased the building. It had come before us in November. You submitted a plan. Both you and Christine have testified that for the most part, you have completed everything in your plan. You've done everything
To date, yeah.
to date that you were asking, but you still say the city is there, we're uncooperative, and I'm not exactly understanding what you mean by that.
Oh, this group is uncooperative. I don't know anybody on this group. I can't say that. I'll just leave it at this. I need a decision. I can't invest more money with the threat of the building being demolished. And I don't think, it's just not reasonable.
Yeah. Any other I'm sorry, I don't want to miss more. I'm gonna let you go first.
Is it my understanding that if the plan is your plan that you submit is adhered to, then there is no threat of demolishing?
Correct.
Is that
You're
true?
correct.
I don't know.
Well,
You
that's-
have to answer that for me. I don't.
Yes.
That's what has been stated by
Yes.
this board,
Yes.
as long as you follow the plan.
Yeah.
But if you don't follow your plan,
Yes.
then that means that it could go into oblivion and
Then you could reinstate this case for demolition.
It's already in demolition. So
So I need a decision.
here's the deal. I don't want to speak for the board, but I'll speak for me as just dealing with lots of demos in my career. The goal of the city is not to tear down every building in our city because we need taxes, and the way you get taxes is buildings, right? Improvements. So that's not really our goal. Our goal is, though, we have to remove dangerous buildings and buildings that pose a threat, attractive nuisance, et cetera, et cetera. You're here because Ms. Antizzo did a really good job of summarizing it. It already had the demo order on it. You bought it. It had the demo order on it. Now we're here, but you've been following through. I don't think our goal today, you just heard Ms. Vanderborg say, you've been following through. She's recommending that we give it another 3 months to see, but we have, as the board, we still have to ensure that it either gets fixed, or if it doesn't get fixed, so say you don't follow through on anything you put in here for the next 4 months or whatever, she comes back and says, Mr. Burns hasn't done anything, then I think we're stuck with like, okay, at that point we have to demo. But you've been following through on what you said. You've got window setting in there. That's kind of my position. I think you're following through on everything. So, yeah.
I think I'm better off if you just decide what you need to decide then. I just don't know how this works. I can't keep putting money into a building and I walk in here and you can still knock it down. In 3 months, maybe I'll make some progress. Then I won't make the progress that's expected in the next 3 months. I mean, it's an older building. You know, I might run into stuff. I don't know. The thing's what is it, 100 years old?
Then you have to let Ms. Vanderborg know and you adjust your plan. You tell her, I need another, look, I'll run in, the floor is going to have to come out. That's where communication comes in with Ms. Vanderborg because she's the one who's holding the demo order right now. So you got to work with her on it.
But you have the power to decide it.
And I would just like to point out that
Yes, we do.
we were thrilled to find out that you had submitted a plan. We have an investor who, hey, we don't want to demo the building. Here's what I want to do. Here's a timeline. You've adhered to the timeline. But again, it takes years to get a property onto the demo list. Lots of legal work and behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But I know, again, I can speak for myself. This board is not going to tear your property down as long as you're making progress, you communicate. Again, we're thrilled that a property on 11th Street by the double tracks is going to be rehabilitated.
That's what I would have thought. I mean, like I said, I'm just in this position of you're asking me to invest more money, I can come back in here and you knock it down again. It's so subjective. I mean, I don't understand how this works. I admit I'm new at this. I've never,
You're the anomaly. Most people don't come in and provide plans.
Well,
Okay. Ms. Vanderberg, do you have any questions? No.
Not this time. I'm confused myself because I'm giving you the chance just to get this property up to par and be it, do what you need to do as far as whether you're gonna sell it, flip it, rent it, whatever the case may be. I don't want to tear it down.
Yeah.
That's my
that's the
position.
first I've heard that.
Okay. So was that a question or just a statement?
Just a statement.
Okay, so no questions then? Any final statements then? Anyone?
This is solely up to the homeowner. If he's gonna put it, this is up to you. You have to, by you not choosing to do anything with the house, then we're gonna go forward with the demolition. If you decide to keep moving on, we're just gonna work together and keep going with this thing until it's to its final, nails put in, give you a C of O and go from there. Everyone lives happily ever after.
Yes. I'd rather not see a vacant lot.
This is continued until when?
Ms. Vanderborg, what was your recommendation? You want to do 3 months?
Well, I
I'm sorry, I
guess
didn't mean to interrupt.
the board needs to make that decision. So the board could, again, the board could affirm, they can modify Ms. Vanderberg's or reverse it right now. So am I hearing that we want to continue it again? Is that,
I would rather you
Someone's gotta
reverse
make-
it. I don't want a continuance.
someone's gonna have to make a motion and
I'm happy to answer any additional questions. I brought a lot of detail.
I have a question. Do you anticipate not being able to stay on this plan? And we understand that there are issues that may come up, but do you anticipate that in some way, shape, or form? Because that's what it sounds like.
Really, no. I'm tracking with Rob on the brick building. He's just submitting his plans next week. We're going to use the same contractors to do both buildings. So I've been pounding him as recently as yesterday to get his plans in so we can get contractors out there to do them together. That isn't the issue. My issue is I want this reversed because I should be in a normal process where I'm improving a building based on permits that I've gotten, not subject to demolition. The building's going to be here in 50 years. My structural engineer was in the basement. There's nothing even structurally wrong. The floors don't even sag, nothing. The HVAC's a mess and the plumbing, electric, and it's a heavy remodel like every building. My plan says I'm starting on the exterior because it's ugly and I don't like walking up to my building and it's ugly. It needs windows, it needs paint, it needs some siding. Even the roof has still got 5 to 7 years on it. So that isn't my concern. My concern is that I'm back here all the time pleading with this committee for work and continuing to put money in, and there's still the threat my building can be knocked down. I can't live with that. And the conversations that I've had have not been constructive. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't need to be threatened every 3 weeks that my building's going to be knocked down if I don't do ABC. That doesn't work for me. It isn't worth it. It isn't worth it.
So if we continue it, would that be modifying the original order, correct?
We'd be modifying the original.
Or would we be affirming her more?
oh, so you're
recent-
still dealing with it procedurally, right? And not substantively if you continue it. So that's when I set this whole thing out. I asked procedurally, were we ready to go? And if not, then everybody said we're ready procedurally. The next part was it. So then we moved to substantively. So
Is there anything that I haven't provided that I need to? Or did I don't want to appear unready. If there's more questions or more evidence or anything that I need to provide, I've got it.
I don't need anything. I don't know if the board does.
I'm good. Yeah. I'm not interested in dismissing it though. I mean, we've done that many times and here we are with buildings that still exist and then we have to put them back on. So that's not my position. If we would like to extend based upon, Ms. Vanderborg or modify that recommendation, I'm okay with that. That's just my position.
You can also rule right now to demolish it, right?
We can, I'd rather not do that, but if that's, yeah.
I don't think that's our intentions at this time, as long as you continue to follow through and as you have presented to the board, but you're saying you're also depending upon Rob Hart.
We're trying to go in lockstep because we want to use the same contractors. And if you look at the buildings together, they're both terribly ugly and in very poor condition.
Mm-hmm.
And they're right on that same corner.
Okay.
I mean, it's in both our best interests. He has not, I understand. Rob and I have several projects here. It makes sense to do it together, right? If I don't proceed, his value won't increase. He won't get good renters.
That
If
makes
I don't
sense.
proceed, he won't either. I mean, they're really, if you look at them, they're just like this, right? His is maybe more terrible than mine. We could debate it, but it's not a pretty sight, right? So,
Go ahead, Mr. Simmons.
Oh,
Did you have a question? Oh. Ms. Moore, all right, I'm gonna take a stab at a recommendation.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion. I make a motion that we continue this for a 4-month period and that Mr. Burns, if anything changes in your plan, you're making good progress on the plan. If anything changes in the plan significantly, but you just told us that structurally it's in really good shape. So please keep moving forward with that. But my motion is to continue this for 4 months, continue to work with Mr. Vanderborg, Miss Vanderborg on anything that changes in the plan. And that's my motion right now.
Support.
Is that okay? I look down here to Miss Rich. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. So we'll see you back here in 4 months, but in the meantime, please keep making progress on it. That's not, our goal is not to tear it. I want to be very clear. You heard Ms. Tisdale say it. You heard me say it. We'd rather not have a vacant lot there. That's my position. And I think that's the board's position. I don't want to speak for you guys, but yeah, and Gene as well.
do we have a date for that? Because I'm out of the country a lot.
July 7th.
Is there flexibility if I come back?
I would say that there's flexibility if you keep moving forward with your plans. I don't know if that makes sense to what.
Yeah, but that's 4th of July weekend, right?
Yes, that would be the
weekend.
right
the week
after. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Our next order of business is public comment. Any public comment? Open up for public comments. Ernie, good morning.
Ernie Hollahan, 302 Gladys Street. I just have one thing, on B Street, where it ends at Ogden. Ogden comes straight into it and it B dead ends. That whole section needs repaved bad. It's real bad. So if you could consider that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I think I see Mr. Warner taking some notes. Any other public comments?
Good morning, board. Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. I wish the owner of that property hadn't left right away after the meeting, because it seems like we had a communication problem. I don't think he was here and we don't want to tear it down. But I'm an investor. I'm a real estate investor. If you buy a property that's in demolition court, you're going to have to deal with that guillotine hanging over you. But we made very clear that if he's making progress to rehabilitate the property, we have no interest in tearing it down. And somehow unfortunately, I don't think he was hearing that. It's not a threat that we're going to tear down your building. It's a threat you need to work on your building or potentially would be torn down. And I support the board for supporting an investor. That building has some potential. I took a look at it. In any case, I'd like to bring something, a general issue to the board that I think as a city we need to prepare ourselves for. As many of us should be aware, there is currently some fighting going on at the federal level about funding and monies and spending, right? And even grants and such that have been awarded at this moment are not being honored. And given that the city is so dependent on, federal matching funds and so on and so forth, I think we, to be proactive, need to prepare ourselves for a lack of funding or, best case, a delay in fundings that we may be counting on. So again, I don't know any projects this directly affects. I'm trying to raise the alarm that as a city, we need to be prepared for possible hiccups in funding sources. I know Mayor Angie's going to give her State of the City speech tomorrow, and I know she has a good team working on these things. But again, I just want to bring to the board's attention, this is something that's happening at the federal level that could very well affect us, from healthcare spending to road funding to, I don't know what all the octopus tentacles of funding are. But let's keep the city moving forward. Thank you.
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I just want to remind everybody again that beginning tomorrow, Michigan City High School is going to be hosting the sectionals from now until I think March 22nd. The sectionals, the regionals, and the semi-state for the IHA boys basketball tournament. And this is a very big thing for me. No other school in my mind has ever hosted all three rounds. We know the IHSA tournament's been renowned as one of the best high school boys basketball tournaments in the country. Just want to make sure that we have put our best foot forward. We're basically by having 14 different schools coming here, from all over every part of the state. And, especially having the semi-state round. We've had this now 3 years in a row. We've had all these great events. We've ended up losing to other communities. We want to keep having this year after year. I know the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau plays a big role. They're one of our advertising sponsors. They got their ad plate very prominently displayed right there for the scorer's bench. I know Jack Garnett, now retired Linda Simmons. She played a big role in getting this. I just want to thank you. And I know I've been reading on social media. I think WSBT is going to come here reporting about some of the things that are going on at our Pairing Care of the Arbors on Cool Springs. So that's maybe something we need to look into. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Anything online? Any other public comments? Okay, I'll close public comments. Any board comments? I'll open up for board comments. Any board comments?
Motion to approve.
I second that. Mr. Simmons. That was fun.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Motion to.